Hello everyone, I am so happy to see you again. Today I want to share with you some tips and recipes for hosting a late summer or early autumn dinner party. A September dinner party in this case. Here's the make-ahead menu. I'm serving corn timbale for the first course, marinated chicken cutlets with sides of roasted potatoes and broccoli for the main course, and a rustic blackberry galette with creme fraiche and mint for the grand finale. Since all of these dishes can be prepared well ahead of time, you can relax and enjoy a cocktail when your guests arrive. That's what I like to do. Now, the first thing I want to do is prep the vegetable sides that will accompany our main course chicken. So I have some broccoli here that I'm going to cut into florets. I will link all of today's recipes in the description box below. Now, I am having 4 people to dinner tomorrow night. Well, it's a total of 4 people. But if you are having more than 4 for dinner, you can always increase the amount of ingredients. Olive oil, salt, pepper. I probably prepared more broccoli than I need, but better too much than too little. And these can go right onto a baking tray. Then I have some Yukon Gold potatoes. These are the potatoes that you and I planted together last spring and that we harvested the other day. And I'm not even going to peel them because the skins look terrific. And of course, I cleaned them really well. And I'm just cutting them into, 1/4-inch rounds. We can throw the potatoes into a bowl. This is the same bowl in which I treated the broccoli. And once again, olive oil, salt, and fresh grinds of pepper. And toss. This time I'm going to use my hands. Wipe my hands, my nicely moisturized hands, and we can put the potatoes on another baking tray. I need to cover the potatoes and the broccoli. I will roast these tomorrow at the same time that I roast the chicken. Meantime, I need to put these in the refrigerator. And now that our vegetable sides are taken care of, we can move on to the first course, corn timbale. But I need to buy some fresh corn. Let's take a quick drive to the local farm store.
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore.
We are home. I'm just shucking the corn for the corn timbale. corn timbale refers to a molded dish that is in the shape of a drum. And the only hard part of this recipe is shucking the corn. This is beautiful corn. So I need 2 cups of fresh corn. That's approximately the corn from 4 or 5 ears of corn. I'm going to try rubbing these ears of corn with these gloves. These are true blues, although they are purple, to see if it helps remove the silk. These gloves are working to remove the silk from the corn. If you have a trick for removing silk from ears of corn, please post that trick in the comments. Let me clean off my board. I will compost all of this. Now, to remove the kernels from the cob, I simply use a super sharp knife and I hold the cob in a large bowl and cut straight down. And to the corn, I'm adding 6 large eggs. And then beat the eggs into the corn kernels with a whisk. I made these timbales earlier in the week, and Lizette and I ate all of them up. They are super delicious, just perfect for a first course. And they're rather elegant looking. Now I need to beat in 2/3 cup or about 80 grams of dry breadcrumbs. These are plain, unseasoned crumbs. And about 3 tablespoons of minced onion. This is from one of the onions that you and I grew together. At this point, I think I'm better off using a spurtle rather than a whisk. A 1/4 cup or a small handful of chopped parsley. This is from the garden. 2/3 cup or about 160 grams of shredded Swiss cheese. 2/3 cup or 160 grams of heavy cream. And a nice pinch of salt. And some drops of Tabasco or whatever your favorite hot pepper sauce is. Now, I will post the recipe for this timbale mixture in the description below. And if you can't see the full description box, simply click on the title of the video. I'm going to cover and refrigerate this mixture overnight, and then tomorrow I will show you how to turn the mixture into little timbales. On to the main course, which is chicken in a lemon, garlic, and herb marinade. I'm putting my bag in a vase here. And I need 1 cup of lemon juice. This is freshly squeezed. I did this early this morning. 1 cup of either olive oil or avocado oil. I'm using avocado oil. I'm doubling this recipe because, well, the recipe calls for 1 pound of chicken cutlets. I'm using 2 pounds. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, or the equivalent in garlic paste, which is what I'm using. 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, or oregano. If you hear a crunching sound, that is my dog Avery, who has suddenly decided to eat her dry food. 2 teaspoons of salt, and lots of freshly ground black pepper. And we can mix this marinade right in the bag. And then back into the vase. So I have a total of 4 chicken cutlets. Now these are small chicken breasts from organically raised chicken. If you are using gonzo size chicken cutlets or chicken breasts from the supermarket, you will probably want to slice them horizontally in half. I buy this chicken at my local farm store. And I know I've mentioned these before, but I love these kitchen tweezers. Of course, I can link them in the description box below, if you are interested. I'm going to smush these chicken cutlets into the marinade mixture. Make sure they are all nicely coated. And then I can place the bag in a baking dish. And this can go into the refrigerator overnight. And tomorrow, the chicken will be beautifully marinated. And of course, we will bake this off tomorrow. For the grand finale blackberry galette, we need a pastry crust. I'm going to make a French pastry crust, which starts with 1.5 cups or 195 grams of all-purpose flour. And I always weigh my flour. And there we are, 195 grams. And we can pour the flour right into the food processor. And then I need about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And since this is a sweet crust, I'm going to add a teaspoon or 2 of sugar. You could omit the sugar entirely if you like. Give this a quick spin. Then I'm adding 113 grams of fat. I'm using half butter and half vegetable shortening here. The vegetable shortening gives the pastry a super flaky texture, and the butter adds flavor. And then I want to pulse the machine a few times just to break up the butter. Then with the machine running, I'm going to add 1/3 cup or 80 mils of cold water. And I will process just until the dough comes together, which it has already. Pastry dough is super simple to make, especially if you have a food processor. And we can transfer this crumbly mass onto a work surface and then gather it into a ball, flatten it into a disc, and transfer it to a sheet of cling film. This will go into the refrigerator overnight. And then tomorrow, we will set the table. We might do a flower arrangement for the table. And then we will assemble and bake off all of the dishes. Sweet dreams, friends. Good morning. Our dinner party is tonight. Since we did all of our heavy dinner party prep yesterday, we have very little to do today. I'm going to assemble and bake off the blackberry galette, and then we can have fun setting the table. And shortly before guests arrive, I will cook off everything we made yesterday. So I have about 3 cups of blackberries here for the galette, and I'm going to sprinkle them with a bit of sugar. That was maybe a 1/4 cup of sugar. Then I need some cornstarch, which will thicken the juices, about 1½ tablespoons. And a light dusting of cinnamon. This is about a 1/2 teaspoon. And a bit of cardamom, which will give the berries a beautiful floral perfume. About 1/2 teaspoon. The zest of 1 lemon. And some lemon juice. Then I need to mix everything. And I'm just tossing gently because I do not want to crush the berries. And we can set this aside while we roll out the pastry dough. So this is the pastry dough that you and I made together yesterday, and then I refrigerated overnight. I want to flour my pastry cloth. Rub the flour into the cloth, and then flour the dough. Now this dough is quite cold. To make it more malleable, I'm going to mash it several times with my rolling pin. I want to roll this into a 13-inch diameter circle. That's about 13 inches. Let me fetch my baking tray. Although I added cornstarch as a thickener directly to the berries, I'm also going to add some cornstarch directly to the pastry dough. And we can add our berries. You will see that I left about a 1½ inch border all around this dough. So now I'm going to fold that border over the berries, making little pleats as I go. And to make the pastry look extra pretty, I'm going to brush it with beaten egg. The egg wash will help the pastry to brown in the oven. And to give the pastry some extra crunch, I'm going to sprinkle it with demerara sugar. My oven has preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius. I'm going to bake this until the juices bubble and the pastry turns attractively brown. That will take about 30 minutes. This galette looks just amazing. I'm going to serve it at room temperature later today, along with creme fraiche and a sprig of mint. And speaking of serving, I decided that instead of having this dinner party in my dining room, I'm going to host it outdoors in the herb garden because the weather is actually very nice today. So while the galette is cooling, let's head outdoors to set the table. I don't know if this is going to work, but I think in order to save ourselves a trip to the flower shop, we can use some of the roses from the garden and simply float them for a centerpiece. And if this doesn't work, we will have to come up with a plan B. There is not a lot of room on that table, so I don't want to do a tall arrangement. Short and sweet. Let's see what this looks like on the table. The table is set, the flowers are arranged. Now it's time to start cooking our dinner. And I'm going to start with the first course, corn timbale. And I'm going to put the corn mixture in these little ramekins. These are 6-ounce ramekins, and then we will unmold them onto little plates. So I have 6 here. Even though I only have 4 people for dinner, I will have 2 extra timbale. And I want to grease these. And then here's the timbale mixture, which we refrigerated overnight. Give it a good stir. I love make-ahead recipes like this one because, well, they take all the stress out of entertaining. And I will fill these ramekins to about a 1/2 inch from the top. The timbale need to bake in a bain-marie or water bath. So I'm adding boiling water to reach about halfway up the sides of the ramekins. These go into a preheated 350 degree Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius oven for exactly 10 minutes. Then I will turn the temperature down to 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 170 degrees Celsius until a skewer inserted in the center of the timbale comes out clean. That will take about 25 minutes. And while the timbale is baking, I'm going to go ahead and pour the marinated chicken into a baking dish. Oh, this smells wonderful. This is the lemon, garlic, and herb marinade that you and I put together yesterday. I'm going to serve the chicken on a bed of the potatoes that we prepared yesterday and with a side of roasted broccoli florets. And I will return this to the refrigerator, and as soon as the timbales are finished, I can put the broccoli and the potatoes and the chicken in the oven. They will all cook together for about 25 minutes at 425 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius. I let the timbale sit in its water bath for about 10 minutes, and then I took the ramekins out and I put them on a wire rack. And now my guests are here, so we can unmold. And I want to show you how I serve the timbale. So I run a knife between the timbale and the walls of the ramekin. Put a plate on top. Flip, et voila, a gorgeous timbale. And again, timbale comes from the word that means drum or drum shaped. Now you can garnish the timbale with buttered breadcrumbs or tomato sauce. I'm going to garnish mine with salsa. This is just store-bought salsa. And to gild this lily, put a small sprig of cilantro on top. Since I have 2 more timbales than I actually need for our party, I'm going to have a little taste of this. So delicious. It's creamy, and you have that crunch of the corn. This is a fabulous first course. Here's how I plate the chicken. So I take a cutlet and I cut it crosswise into thin slices. I can already tell this chicken is very juicy. Then put some of the roasted potatoes on a plate. This will make a nice bed for the chicken. Spoon some of the sauce on top. This is the sauce from the chicken. Add the chicken. A little more sauce. Garnish with parsley. And add some broccoli florets. I think this makes a very attractive presentation. So on to the dessert. My guests have left. Everyone had a great time at this dinner party, including me, because you and I did all of the heavy lifting yesterday. Honestly, there was very little work to do today. I hope you feel inspired to try this make-ahead menu someday. And if you enjoyed this video, I can put a couple of my other videos at the end of this one that you can watch between now and my next upload. Until then, please treat yourself well, and I will see you in the next episode. Chin chin.